Hello and welcome to Tiny Desk Knitting with Emma. Today I'm wearing the Cumulus Blouse by Petite Knit and Rama Fennel Garn. I feel like the colorway is like 4136 or something. It's minty green. I will link it in the show notes so you can see what color it is. I knit this at the very beginning of COVID. Like I think I was still in England when I finished this. And I had to edit I knit a medium instead of a small because the pattern was for 18 stitches over 4 inches and I was getting more like 20. I knit this because this was like when Corrine from the Woolly Thistle was just knitting her first vanilla sweaters before she like published the pattern and stuff, and knit like a bunch of them, and everybody in the world knit them, and because it's the best sweater ever. And I had this, I think I got it at the Woolly Thistle. It was like my birthday present to myself in 2019. And I had this yarn and she was knitting this vanilla sweater and I was like, I want that, except I'm gonna do a V-neck because I have this pattern called the Cumulus Blouse and that looks nice. So this was inspired by the vanilla sweater right when it was being knit for the first time, and she was showing it on the shopcasts. In case anyone wanted to know how I get inspired, I watch people on YouTube. Okay, so I'm doing this thing where I realized that I have a ton of stash yarn for sweaters, a lot of it that I've had for years, like 2 or 3 years, and I am not knitting my way through it in a normal way, and I want to change that because I just want to knit through it and like then get more yarn for more sweaters, instead of just like having things languish and then maybe get eaten by bugs, which I really don't want to happen because some of my yarn is really nice. So I've decided, and anyone in the knitting community is welcome to join me, that I'm gonna do a big sweater stash down. And I think maybe I'll just like host it on Ravelry. I'll make a group for Barnaby Knits or Tiny Desk Knitting or something on Ravelry, and folks can jump in with like what they're knitting. You know, if you want to basically join me in a sweater stash down, or in anything stash down, you can kind of jump in with, this is the pattern I'm knitting and it's for this knit along or whatever. And you know, maybe at the end of the year we do a prize or something. This is like, I've never done that before, but like that's what people do. I don't know, maybe I'll like send someone some Fair Isle hat that I knit. I knit a lot of Fair Isle accessories, so it'll probably be something like that. Maybe people will want to donate prizes and then I will send those. But we'll see what happens with this. I just want to do a sweater stash down because I have so many sweater quantities of yarn, and I would love if other people wanted to join me and also do their own sweater stash downs, just because then we all have a bunch of pretty sweaters with all this yarn in our stash. So I don't have any rules. Like when I upload this at some point in a couple weeks, I'll have a Ravelry group that I've set up by then, if you want to join. And knit 10 sweaters, 50 sweaters, 1 sweater, 2 sweaters, whatever you want. Or big accessories, shawls, whatever you want to do. Maybe we'll have one for accessories and we'll have one for sweaters and we'll have one for shawls or something. I don't know. It'll be fun. Like different threads, you know, chatter threads, finished object threads. Just, it'll be fun. It's a lot to manage because I'm also trying to put out a bunch of sock patterns this year. If you watch my channel, you probably know that. But I think it's fun. I like the knitting community and it'll be a good time. So I'm gonna tell you some of my plans. Basically, I pulled like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sweater quantities from my shelves and put them in plastic bags. Be like, I'm gonna start with this 7. It's a lot. 7's a lot to start with. But I'm gonna tell you all about the patterns I've chosen, and maybe I'll change my mind. That's fine too. I have my iPad here so that I can show you the patterns if you want to see them. So the first one I'm going to make is Ridari by Vidas Jonsdottir. I've made this twice already. I'm going to make it again. Making this for a friend, and it's for somebody who's a male. So I chose that pattern because it's kind of a pattern that like a lot of men model. This is the main color. It's a Briggs & Little Regal in color dark gray. It's like a dark charcoal. And then I think for one of the main or contrasting colors, at least, I'm gonna use this Harrisville Watershed, and it's the color Birch Bark. I think I might use like green. I don't know. Maybe I'll just do 2 colors. I have 100 grams of this, so I could use as much as I want. But yeah, like maybe some like a navy. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna let my imagination run wild. I don't think I'm gonna do any patterning on the bottom or like hem or the sleeve. So I'm just gonna knit the body and then just kind of start the yoke and see where that takes me. So that's one. I really like Briggs & Little yarn because it's the best. It's like really inexpensive and it's woolen spun, and you can get this at, if you're in Canada, you can get it anywhere because it's Canadian. They have it literally like at almost every yarn store in Canada. But I get it from Maritime Family Fiber in Maine, which is the US distributor. You can get Heritage at Webb's. Briggs & Little Heritage is the Aran weight. This is more of a lighter worsted. To me, it acts like a worsted. It's 2-ply and it's 4 ounces or 113 grams, and there's 272 yards. So that's pretty high yardage for a worsted weight yarn. You can really get a lot out of these skeins. One thing I would recommend doing though is checking your dye lots. Briggs & Little yarn looks the same in the skeins, but if it's before you start knitting, you should check your dye lots and like do helical knitting, like alternating skeins if it's not from the same dye lot, because my mom and I have both of us have forgotten to check dye lots on Briggs & Little before and like had a stripe in the sweater. And it's not super noticeable, but it's like noticeable enough. So check your dye lots for Briggs & Little. Heritage, what am I talking about? Harrisville Watershed is really nice. It's yarn like inspired by sort of natural things in nature around New Hampshire where the mill is. And they also spin, they spin their own yarn. They mill Harrisville designs, so Highland, Shetland, Watershed, wheel, something. Flywheel, that's the sport weight version of this. And then they also mill Peace Fleece, which is amazing. If you've never used it, you should try it. And they also mill Brooklyn Tweed Shelter and Loft. It's a woolen spun mill, and it's amazing. I don't think they mill the other Brooklyn Tweed, like the worsted spun, like Arbor and Peary, but they might, I don't know. Anyway, that's the first sweater I'm gonna knit. I have to do that as soon as possible, by the middle of March when I go to England. One thing I'm also gonna do, I'm gonna say this now because the next 2 sweaters are gonna be part of knit-alongs. I like to find a knit-along as just like an excuse to cast on that sweater and like get it done. I don't ever expect to win anything from knit-alongs. I did win once from a Grocery Girls knit-along. I did knit like a t-shirt and I won a prize, which was like crazy. But I don't expect that to happen. I do it because it's like, oh, there's other people doing this. It'll like prompt me to actually do it too. So I kind of try. So there's a Cal that's starting. I'm not sure if I'm gonna post this in advance of that. Maybe I'll post this on like right after this. So because it goes for a while. It starts on 2/22/22. So February 22nd, 2022. And it's called the Hold Me Double Cal, and it's gonna be put on by Little Red Mitten, which is a yarn shop in St. Thomas, Ontario that has an online podcast, a YouTube channel. I'll link them down below too. And I'm really excited for that. I've never been there. I did live in Toronto for a long time, but I've never been there, and I would love to go. But maybe, yeah, it's like 4 hours from Toronto, so it's kind of a schlep if I'm visiting there. But they're doing a Hold Me Double Cal, and you can hold anything double. And if you get extra entries if you're using slub yarn specifically, but I'm not using slub yarn. I am using Mad Tosh Merino Light in colorway Penumbra, which I got in 2019, I think before Amy Hendricks sold Metal and Tosh to Jimmy Beans. I got this in like the super sale in like September or something. And I got 3 skeins. Didn't know what I was gonna do with it. I got 3 skeins of this other color that was like a dark pink, and I also paired that one with mohair. And I think that's just kind of like the natural process for me. This is Bichet Bouche Le Petit Silk and Mohair. I got this at the Knot House in Frederick, Maryland, which is my favorite town in Maryland. I love Frederick, and I love the Knot House and Magpie Fibers. There's, again, like 2 yarn stores in one small town. Like, that's amazing. I can't go to the Knot House unless I like have some money put aside, because I will buy everything. And yeah, so these 2 are going to be held together, and I don't know exactly what that's going to look like, but they are totally the same family. Like, this is kind of a berry, and this is also like a mauve. This is called Dark Burgundy Gray. and this is called Penumbra. And I don't know, Metal and Touch changes the colors a lot, so here's what they look like. And I'll be showing this, of course. I'm gonna knit the Classic by Espace Tricot. Oh, no. This is a free pattern. Espace Tricot patterns are almost always free, unless they're like fundraising for something. This is a nice simple pullover. It has a split hem, I think. The back hem's a little longer, at least in this picture, that's how it looks. This is, I like looked, yeah, it does have a split hem. I looked at this, I don't know, I looked up this pattern, or read the information, excuse me, and it says it's kind of like Paloma, which they also did in COVID, and I made a Paloma sweater for my mom. So yeah, it's like Paloma. It's a raglan style with boxy silhouette. So that generally means that they do more increases on the body and the front and the back than they do on the sleeves, and it ends up being pretty big. So I might do some edits to make it slightly more fitted, because usually even the smallest size, just like I look like I'm drowning in that. And my mom looks great. It looks like a sweatshirt on her. But this is knit at a gauge of 21 stitches over 4 inches, which I like for mohair, but you need more. You need like 3 skeins of the this, and you need like at least 4 of these. This is a 25 gram ball, so you need, this has more yardage than this does in terms of like in the amounts that you generally use. So like it's usually you use half the weight of this to this, but there's even more yardage on these, so that doesn't make a lot of sense. But you need more skeins of the merino than you would like for a 2 skein like Love Note or something, because it's at a tighter gauge. This pattern is written for Isair Yarn Alpaca 2, which is a light fingering. Yeah, it's so pretty. I saw that at Looped in DC last weekend, and I was like, I want that, but I can't get it because I have too much yarn. And also Isair Yarn Silk Mohair, so similar. And it's gorgeous. And it's kind of, this is supposed to be like Melissa Klulau, who designs a lot of these patterns. She used to own Espace Tricot with her business partner Lisa, but then they sold it to 2 women named Naomi and what's her name? Oh, it's blanking on me. I think it starts with a J, but I'm not positive. Anyway, they own it now, and they have their own. They have a podcast, and so I'll link that below. And I'm gonna be thinking about that woman's name, and then I'm gonna say it, and you're gonna be like, what are you talking about? And I'll explain myself. Anyway, Melissa designed the Turtle Dove and the Turtle Dove 2 also, which was like this type of sweater, just at like a big bulkier gauge for like Woolfolk Luft or like Drops Air. So anyway, I'm excited about that. I'm gonna start that on the 22nd. The next one I'm going to do, also part of a cal, is Nurtured by Andrea Mowry. And I recently got really into Andrea Mowry's patterns. Can you please go? Okay. My Wi-Fi is really slow in this part of the house because of the like brick, apparently. Please go, open. There we go. Maybe? I don't know. We'll see what happens. Nurtured is a... because I can't show it, apparently. It's a textured pullover that's kind of cropped, and it has long sleeves. And it has raglans, top-down raglan. Or no, it's bottom-up raglan, which I might edit to be top-down, because I have this yarn called Wensleydale Longwool Sheep Shop Aran, and it's from England, and it's only 174 yards. And I have 5 balls of this, and I have 1 ball of a contrasting color. This, it doesn't have a name. It did. When I bought it, it had the name online. I know this one's called MIZZLE, which means like a light drizzle, or like misty drizzle. I think it's a combination of mist and drizzle, but I don't know. And I was just gonna do the cuffs in like, you know, the neckline and the hem, the cuffs, and this, in case I ran out. Apparently it's not gonna open. Can I reload it? X. Nurtured. Oh wait, now it's going. Now it's going, I think. We'll see if it loads. But yep, I got this. I think I bought it online at the end of 2019. I actually have a whole spreadsheet of like of all the sweater quantities I have and when I got them, so that I can like, I don't want to do them in necessarily in chronological order because I want to knit what I want to knit, but I want to make sure I'm using a lot of the older yarns to just kind of do that. Well, this is gonna take ages. I might just pause this and go out there and load it. Maybe I'll do that. Excuse me. Okay. It worked. So it looks like that up close. And it looks like that. And that's the silhouette. Andrea Mowry, she also has a YouTube channel called I'll Knit if I want to, or I'll Knit, and now it's called I'll Knit and Spin If I Want to. And she talks about like lots of things. She answers questions. It's really cool. It's a great thing to, she does it every Friday. It's great to watch. I learn a lot, even though like I'm obviously an experienced knitter, but I still learn lots of things. Everyone can teach people things. And she's a great teacher, and she has a super short torso, so all of her sweaters are really cropped. So that's fun. She says she wanted, in this pattern, I wanted a cropped sweater with lots of texture that I could throw on over my favorite dresses and tunics, or paired with high-waisted jeans and skirts. The honeycomb pattern is easy to memorize and rhythmic to knit. Snip from the bottom up, mostly in the round. Okay, so yeah, we'll see. I don't know if I want to do it bottom up, because I'm pretty proficient at changing things to top down if I need to. I just have patterns for raglan top down sweaters, and I just basically translate the stitch pattern to be, I use the same stitch pattern and I knit it top down. And the reason I would do that is because I don't want to run out of yarn. And so I would knit the sleeves first, then go back to the body and use the rest of the yarn that I had, and then switch to this color for the hem. So this is Wensleydale, pure Wensleydale yarn. Wensleydale is heavy because it's quite a long wool, which is why there's less yardage in this skein than there would be in a normal worsted or Aran weight skein maybe. And it's very drapey because it's super, super long wool, lustrous. Some people find that itchy. I don't find any wool really itchy. It's a worsted spun. You can see there's a kind of a halo. It is so shiny. This is just the natural luster of a long wool. And other long wools that you might have heard of are like Blueface Luster, BFL. That's a long wool. It's so strong because the staple length is longer. So I'm excited. Andrea had originally designed this in Julie Asselin Nurtured, which is why the sweater is called Nurtured. Julie is French. She's French Canadian, so we say Julie because that's how she would say her name. Okay, the next one is the Maddie cardigan by Kristen Drysdale, and I just saw her interview on the Woolly Thistle about her new book, which I bought and I love. So this is a cardigan, and I just love she says always that she loves yellow and gold, and now she makes me want to knit everything in yellow and gold because it's so pretty. So it's a cardigan. Let's look at that one. Come on. The reason that, okay, well, it's being annoying again. The reason that I wanted to knit this pattern specifically is because it's knit in Biche Bouche, Le Petit Lamb's wool. And I have this. I got this from Espace Tricot, which is a knitting store in Montreal. I think I got this one from there too, so I'll talk about them now. It's in Montreal. It's in Moncton Village. I've been there a couple of times and I always end up spending a lot of money, and I'm like, it's fine, the exchange rate's really good, and it's still like 200 USD, but it's worth it. Save up your money when you go to nice yarn shops. That's my best advice. So Biche Bouche Le Petit Lamb's wool is finger and weight yarn. It's pure lamb's wool from Scotland, from a family-owned fiber mill. I think the family is Danish. They live in France and the yarn comes from Scotland or something. It's very cool. This is called Very Light Blue, and I love the color. And yeah, it's been in my stash. I bought it at the very beginning of 2020. I think I was visiting one of my college friends who are undergrad friends who is doing her PhD in Montreal, in McGill in Montreal. I went to visit her when I was home for Christmas because it's a pretty quick drive. It's about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Now that they have the new road, it's really fast from my house in Vermont, as long as the borderline's not very long. And this was before COVID. I haven't really been to Montreal since COVID started. I've been to Toronto, but I haven't been to Montreal. But I would love to go back to Espace Tricot because they are the best store ever. Oh, and I was talking about their podcast just a second ago, because I couldn't remember the woman's name. Still can't remember her name. I think I can remember her last name, but I can't remember her first name. But anyway, it's like maybe Jen. It's not Jill. It probably doesn't even start with a J, and I'm just being crazy. Anyway, there it is, Le Petit Lambswool. So I have this color, and then I have the dark blue turquoise color. These came from Espace Tricot, if you want to be French Canadian. So I've got one of these, and I have like 5 of these. And I got it there not knowing what I assumed I would make a yoke sweater. And then I kind of was like, maybe I won't make a yoke sweater. Maybe I'll just use the light blue and I'll use this for something else. And then I was like, no, that's the one, the Maddie cardigan. I haven't knit anything with that kind of cool yoke design, and it's just beautiful. And I'm into cardigans right now because I don't have a lot of cardigans. So that's the plan for this. Okay, I had to pause it to make sure that my iPad wasn't gonna be annoying again. This is the next sweater I'm gonna make. Again, I'm not married to these patterns. I'm just like inspired, and I thought you might be inspired to do this. Have a little adventure going through your stash, finding some patterns. This is by Thea Coleman, and it's called Grey Ghost. It's knit in Elsa Wool Woolen Spun Sport Weight Cormo. I don't have that. I have Durarium Natura Ulysse, also from Espace Tricot. Espace Tricot. This is the color Baleine Bleu, which is a whale. Baleine is a whale in French. I have maybe 6 of these. This is pretty high yardage. 185 meters and 50 grams. That's not bad. That's not bad for a sport weight. The thing that I will tell you about this, as well as this sort of big sister yarn, Gilead, which is the worsted weight, super high yardage for what you get. And I tend not to be able to knit this at a fine gauge. I find the same problem happens to me with Brooklyn Tweed Loft. It is too lofty, and I break it if I try to pull it too tightly. And I think you could probably combat that by just going down a bunch of needle sizes, but I don't want to do that. That just like takes some of the fun away. So I wanted to find a pattern for this yarn that was more like, you know, because some sport patterns are like 24, 26 stitches over 4 inches. And I was like, no, it's not gonna work. I literally tried, and I could not get that gauge. Like the best I could do on like a 2.5 was 20 stitches over 4 inches. So I needed to find a pattern for that. And I was like, that'll be great, because the looser the gauge, the less yarn you use. So I found this one because it's 20 stitches over 4 inches. And it's got these cool like raglans up here. She says that it's somewhere between Elizabeth Zimmerman's classic raglan and her Hurry Up Last Minute sweater, which many of you will recognize as a Carbeth. So Carbeth by Kate Davies also has that raglan shaping that's really close to the neck, which you can kind of see there. Let's see. You'll see it in this photo if it will load. Yeah, there we go. It has a really cool, it's like she says it's like an everyday sweatshirt kind of feel. These probably aren't coming out super clear because I don't think my phone will like focus on stuff. It says it's an everyday sweatshirt kind of knit, assuming your everyday sweatshirts are knit in gorgeous wool and spun cormo and feature lace and garter rib details. That is, but what I mean is that you will reach for this one all the time, and I can't wait for that. So I thought, yeah, it'd be fun. It'd be a fun thing. I'm trying to get more into cables. Obviously, it takes me a lot longer because I'm not as fast, but cables are fun, especially in a really nice bouncy yarn that doesn't hurt your hands. And I encourage people to try them. And I'm gonna try some more cable sweaters. I really have only knit 2, and they were my first 2 sweaters ever. And then I kind of got into the Fair Isle and Lopa Pesa craze, and I just never looked back. And so I have my Frene Branca by Thea Coleman, which has these cables that go down the sides like that. But I like her patterns because they often have either like a really simple cable details, or like they're just in a couple of places. Sometimes they're all over. She has a really wide variety of patterns. But I'm excited about that sweater. Okay, so I'm recording the next part of this video much later in the day. One thing I'm excited about is the fact that you can now see this plant. I said in a previous video that it was there, and I was sad that you couldn't see it in the background, but now you can because it's getting really big, and it's a spider plant, and it has some babies hanging off of it. I probably shouldn't touch it because I kill plants. I'm not the person who takes care of them. But anyway, this is not like the first half, second half, because I only have a couple more yarns to actually show you. But I'm also done with using the iPad because both of the next patterns are actually in books. They're both in Lina. Lina is a very, very high quality publication. This says $28 on it. Now it retails for probably more like $34. It's like a knitting magazine. Or journal. I don't know. It's a thrice annual publication. It's like a magazine. I think people call it Lina magazine. It's a magazine, but it's printed on really high quality paper in Finland. And they stopped for a while, and now they have kind of a new aesthetic where like the covers are all like more like shiny and they're like textured. But this is issue 4. This is my favorite issue. I should hold this up and then explain the sweater I would like to make. So this is the yarn. Oh, that's much better lighting. This is Manos del Uruguay Marina, which is lace weight, single ply. Oh yeah, you can really see the lighting is so much better now. And this is the mohair that I just dyed to go with it. I should probably only need 2 skeins. I actually ended up buying 5 of these because it was in a pack. I bought it at the Manos del Uruguay like sale that they have. Like it's like there's a warehouse in Philadelphia because the distributor's in Philly, and they have like they're not usually open like as a shop, but they are once a year in October. They have this big day where it's like open day and you can go buy really cheap stuff like seconds and, you know, overstock, and you can buy big packs of 5 at like a 30% discount or something. So I got a 5-pack of this. I had no idea what I was gonna make, but thought I can hold that double if all else fails. So yeah, I was in San Francisco for Thanksgiving that year, and had some with me. I was working on it on the plane. I had since ripped that sweater out because I didn't like it, but my aunt's dog got into the knitting bag and like went crazy with it. My mom's dog doesn't do that, but my aunt's dog got really into the yarn. It was really cute. He's like this little white Catan, and he's so cute. And you know, my mom and I managed to save most of it. The serendipitous part of that was that my aunt had it was around my birthday, my aunt had bought me a new winder as a birthday gift, and she gave it to me while I was there. And so we had a winder like that we would normally have had to help us like get it back into balls. But anyway, so this is still in a skein because I had only planned to use a couple. And then this is the contrast, and I should probably show you the pattern. Here it is, black ice. Hard to see there, but there's a picture here. So it's a raglan pullover. It is done in lace weight and lace weight. So lace weight wool and then lace weight mohair silk. And Susie Homan used to work in Marion Assayer's yarn shop in Denmark. It's a simple brioche with a twist. So I've never actually knit with like a brioche anything ever, but I think that I read the stitch pattern and I can do it. Like I was like, oh, I can do that. I don't know. I'm gonna try it and see what happens. And it's really simple. It's like a 2-page pattern. So yeah, we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out how that goes. But I would like to highlight all of the patterns in this book. Maybe I'll just go quickly, because this is just like, if you can buy back issues of Lina at your local yarn store, this is the one that you want. I mean, so I made that one. I made that in silk and mohair and merino in like a dark pink. Although I did more like, I didn't do the lace pattern on the sleeves, and I did kind of like balloon sleeves. And I keep going back and forth on whether or not I like that, because I kind of want to go back and make like actual sleeve cuffs and make the sleeves full length, but it looks fine. Lakeland I also made. I made this for Brooke, the kid's mom, in like an indigo dyed worsted weight from Brooklyn Tweed that got all over my hands and made me look like a Smurf. But it was worth it. It really suits Brooke. This I have not made. This is a half fisherman's rib, or maybe full fisherman's rib. Yeah, something like that. I don't tend to knit in fisherman's rib, but I'm not against it. It's because I knit through the back loops. I don't have to knit through the back loops, but like I generally do. So I find knitting regular hard. I tried to make this, but I ripped it out and I made something else instead because I was very frustrated with the sleeves. I knit the entire body. Halfway through the body, I got fed up and I made a steek because I don't like purling. And then I got to the sleeves. I knit one whole sleeve, but I didn't do any shaping on it. I just did drop shoulders and I was like, I don't think this is gonna fit. And I ripped the entire sweater out and I made something else with it. So you should do that. Also, the gauge was really, really off, so it probably wouldn't have fit very well. Wow, probably people are watching this and they're like, I have that book. Please don't show me every single pattern in that book. Oh, that's a pretty cowl. I would knit that. It's like a textured cowl. It's called Rift. You can also buy all these patterns individually now because Lina only keeps the rights for like a year or something. I've made this twice, both at the request of others. That is a really pretty pullover. I remember seeing a picture of this. I think Lisa from Espace Tricot, I figured out the woman's name. It's Stephanie, the other woman who now owns Espace Tricot. Her name is Stephanie. But Lisa from Espace Tricot, the former owner, she had a picture of this sweater that she was wearing at Rhinebeck a few years ago, and it wasn't named, and I like spent a month trying to find where that sweater was. And then my brother got me this for that Christmas, and I was like, oh my God, that's the sweater. Anyway, gorgeous photographs here. So I made it for my friend Susanna in this dark color. This is made in Durarium Natura Gilead, and I made it in Gilead both times. For Susanna, I made it in the dark gray with like quartz pink little things here. And then for another friend, I made it in a forest green with like a very light brown details. Oh, Airy by Isabel Kramer, I really want to knit that and have like a Queensland yak merino yarn. It's brown that I've been saving for this. It does have cables, but it's so pretty. See, that's the thing, like this book is really good because I want to knit every single pattern in it. Oh, there's black ice. Oh, Ito, this is a shawl in Plotulope. And I have all of the colors of that to make this shawl. I just have to do it. Classic. This is the only one I'm not sure I would make. It's just a yoke in Brooklyn Tweed Shelter. But yeah, these are really nice. I have another line in here. I'm not going to show you every single pattern in it because it would take too long. But the last yarn I have pulled is Skein Queen Flockley. So it's BFL, silk, and cashmere. It's really squishy, it's super soft. It's probably gonna pill because there's cashmere and silk, or well, there's cashmere in it. But I like the color. It's called Fritillaries. Fritillaries, I don't know what that means. It's a word. But it's very pretty. I have 3 of these, and it's fingering weight, but it's a little bit of a plump fingering weight. It's pretty round. So the sweater I want to make is actually the cover sweater on this magazine. This is number 3. You can usually buy them from local yarn stores or from Lina. They often have sales where they'll like, if they have a bunch of back stock, they'll just sell them for like half off or 40% off or something, just to get rid of their stock, which is useful, I guess. So the sweater's called Hay. It's knit in Fiber Company Road to China Light. And I actually thought that the fiber content was a pretty good match. Yeah, I think you just split at the armholes, and it's a drop shoulder. This will involve purling, I'm pretty sure, because I'm not gonna make a steek with that. It's too soft. I can't needle felt over it. But it's really pretty. It's nice details, nice lace. Yeah, this is a nice one. Maybe I will go through it and see. I would love to make this. This is like a cardigan with oversized cardigan. Everything in these are everything like about these are so gorgeous. I made that, this hat by Whitney Hayward. Whitney Hayward once hired me to do sample knitting. 4-piece fleece. So I've never met her, but we've talked a lot on email, and I think her patterns are amazing. It's called the Bracken Hat. And these also have like, there's a travel guide and like a recipe. This recipe's for apple lingonberry sheet cake. And also something called Hysa-oma, which is a type of eggnog, I think. That's what it looks like. Yeah, pretty stuff. It's a nice shawl. Looks like there's some cables in another color. Yeah, traveling cables. This, everybody's made the Tricot by Jen Steingas. Classic, I've made that twice. But I made it bottom up both times because it was before I was making top-down sweaters. And don't do that. The stitch pattern gets kind of, gets shaped in a weird way if you do that bottom up. So it's super gorgeous. I love this sweater. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna, because it's a better lighting now, I'm gonna show some of these other ones again, just real quick. So there's the Tosh Merino light and the Biche Bouche together. Oh yeah, that's much better lighting. There you go. Can you focus? I don't know if it will focus. Kinda. This is the Briggs & Little Regal with the watershed from Harris. Oh yeah, you can really see that watershed better. Yeah. This is the Biche Bouche together. Can kind of see better the heathering there. Wensleydale. Oh God, this is so heavy. I know it's 100 grams and like so is this, but this feels heavier than 100 grams. Yeah, it does say 100 grams. Well, these are so pretty. I can't wait to make that sweater. I almost don't want to wait, but I'm gonna wait for the March to May Cal. And then this is the DRN Udis. This is hard to find in the US. I don't know if you can get it anywhere in America, but you can get it at Espace Tricot, which is where I got it. You can get it from Isolde has it, I think. Yeah, various places stock this. Like, I mean, you can get it like overseas if you want to be shipped from like Loop London or something. You can get it in France, which is where they make it. But yeah, this is hard to get in this country. So be aware that if you want it, you'll probably have to have it shipped internationally. But yeah, I think that's all. Got a big bag of yarn here. Can't wait to start knitting with it. I had a cast on band. I'm posting this. I'm probably gonna post this in like a week and a half, at which point my cast on band will be over. But I had a cast on band because, as you know, if you've watched my whip roundup, but now I've finished enough of the projects that I can cast on more because, I mean, I might just kind of try and finish some stuff up today. Today's Sunday when I'm filming, so it's Scrappy Sunday and I'm working on my March socks in a DK weight marled version and they are fantastic. So I'm gonna keep working on those. And, but I might cast on a new sweater this week. We'll see how I feel. I will be casting on this one. No, about a week. Yeah, like a week from Tuesday or something. Maybe the day that I post this. That might be the day I post this video, the day that I cast on this sweater, so that's fun. I really need to cast on the Briggs & Little one, like ASAP, because that one has to be done before England, so. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay, well, this is probably a pretty long video. So thank you so much for sticking with me. all day, except you didn't have to see the like 6 hours in the middle of the day where I went grocery shopping with my roommates. It's too bad because that would have been funny. It's Super Bowl Sunday, so we thought that the grocery store was gonna be insane. And it was, I mean, it's always crowded, but it wasn't actually more crowded than usual, and we didn't have any trouble finding anything that we needed, except we didn't know that we should have gotten cream cheese for buffalo chicken dip. And now one of my roommates is like, and her boyfriend just went out and are going to like every grocery store until they can find cream cheese. But we did find a big thing of frozen wings and we were really excited because one of my roommates got an air fryer. Well, she got an Instant Pot, a big Instant Pot, an 8-quart with an air fryer attachment for her birthday. And we haven't used the air fryer yet. So we're gonna try and make air fried wings. I'm excited about that. But yeah, thank you for watching. This has been Tiny Desk Knitting with Emma. Bye!